He's loose again. Edwards off the running. Punched it back down to Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. Still sitting free. Touchdown.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. Tonight, you got Brendan and Trevor here, and we're talking about Auburn, clearly, with this beautiful picture that Trevor made. I love it. The Screaming Eagle. Listen, guys, we're excited to talk about it, talking in the SEC here, and, the previews keep rolling along. We usually start off 2024, and we kind of push into, 25 in this current year, but we like to just kind of look back real quick and see how things are going. Trev, when we talk 2024 Auburn, it was really just an up and down kind of year of, you start off, I know it's Alabama A&M, you blow the shit out of them, and then you go out and you lose to Cal at your home stadium. And then you go and you beat New Mexico, okay, so you beat the two guys that you should, and then you just start dropping games. Arkansas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Mizzou, but then you go and beat Kentucky, lose to Vandy, and then you finish off with two wins there against ULM and then Texas A&M, who at the time was pretty solid. So, and then you lose the Iron Bowl, which we all know how that feels. Losing a rivalry game like that. So tough year for Auburn, but there's a lot of hope in this team, a lot of hope in the fan base that this year in 2025 is going to really turn it around and get Hugh Freeze rolling. Trev, from 24 into the coaching staff, what are you seeing on this, this squad from the coaching side?
Well, there's been a little bit of I guess you could say a turnover in the coaching staff. We're talking, Charles Kelly, who was defensive coordinator last season. He left to be the head coach over at Jack State. Josh Aldridge, who was the linebackers coach, left to be East Carolina's defensive coordinator. Now they promoted, TJ Rushing. This is all defense, by the way. This is just the defensive side of the things. TJ Rushing was promoted to safeties coach. Rock Bellantoni was brought back to coach edge linebackers. DJ Durkin still remains as the primary D coordinator. And then Vontrell King Williams is still the D-line coach, and Wesley McGriff is currently still the cornerbacks coach.
Yeah. So,
Offense. So there's a little bit of changes, but there are some pieces that stuck around. But, honestly, when you're coaching at Auburn, regardless of your position, it opens up opportunities elsewhere for you. Auburn's still a very well thought of program. Just in general. So when you're coaching there, you're bound to have some turnover, especially below the D coordinator position. At the position coaches, they'll get opportunities at the smaller universities to become D coordinators or co-defensive coordinators.
Yeah.
So as far as the offense goes. Sorry, Brandon, were you saying something? Sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, yeah, overturn happens, and it's usually the sign of a healthy program, depending. But, Auburn fan, I feel like Auburn's had a history of turning over coaches. I grew up in Alabama. I'm not an Alabama fan, not an Auburn fan, so I've always been on the outside looking in. But Bama fans, I know, always, the ones that we know, always shit on Auburn for changing coaches too early. For tossing them to the side, or the administration doesn't, they're kind of done with them, then they're just done with them, and they kind of just toss them wayside. So it's an interesting situation down there with Hugh Freeze and everything going on right now. But I like the moves that they've made. I think Durkin's still good at DC there. Nick's about to talk offense.
We're about to talk offense right now. We're going to move into that. So like Brendan was just about to mention. Derek Nix is now the offensive coordinator and running backs coach for Auburn. From what I've read, most of the unless I'm missing an offensive coach, but all of the other offensive coaches as it stands right now are in place. Kent Austin is the quarterbacks coach. Marcus Davis is the wide receivers coach. They would always do this to me. Ben Agamoa is the tight end coach. I think that's actually pretty close. And Jake Thornton is the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, Derek Nix comes from a running backs background. Like he was a running back in college, where he played at Southern Miss, and he's had stints at a few different spots. Where honestly, it should be a good fit for him. He was in 2023. He helped Ole Miss, excuse me, go 11-2. The offense was in the top 20 nationally in scoring offense. So I mean, he's got that pedigree that Auburn wants to see in their offensive coordinator.
Yep.
We'll just see if that saves Hugh Freeze from getting the boot.
Yeah, it just keeps it rolling because I mean, there's a lot of talk about Hugh Freeze this offseason, whether it's warranted or not. The talk is out there. Auburn fans, let us know what you feel about Hugh Freeze and the situation with the coaching staff. Because again, we're outside looking in.
I'd love to hear from some Auburn fans on how they feel about Hugh Freeze and some of these guys that have come in to replace the guys that left.
Absolutely.
Offensive coordinator, especially on how you feel about it. Are you confident about it, or do you think it's just Hugh Freeze trying to save his job and getting someone in here that just does things a little different?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what you guys say. But when you look at 2024 numbers, the 29th offense last year, so Nick's because Nick's was there last year, right? So that he's you have a 2020 the 29th offense, you're running it just fine. The 31st defense, DJ Durkin's got shit going on, but you're still going, you're getting 5 wins. So it's like there's tight losses, and let's see if we can get around that here in 2025. Trev, when we look at the transfer portal, they went in hard, man. They got the 8th ranked class, and they really got good movement on it. You bring in Jackson Arnold, which you're hoping, has kind of an explosion here at Auburn, because when he was at Oklahoma, there was just kind of a mix of offensive line issues. Wide receivers were injured. So we'll talk about him in a little bit. But you bring in Jackson Arnold, you give him weapons in Horatio Fields. I mean, there's guys out there on this portal class. Key in, I've got Arnold, Fields, Singleton, Strader, and then Murphy on the offensive line. 19 in, 28 out. Not bad. What do you think about this class here in the portal, Trev?
Obviously getting Jackson Arnold, which I was like about him last year, but it could just be a system thing, and we'll just see about that.
Yeah.
I like the offensive line players that they brought in. I think they did a really good job of doing that. And shoot, man, I'll tell you what, they just did a really good job of bringing in. And I wouldn't be doing our part if I was saying that they brought in Jackson Darnold, but they also recruited a kid named Deuce Knight, which literally every place I read, everybody is raving about this kid.
Yeah.
Like everybody. If he doesn't beat Jackson Arnold out, which I really hope he does, because from what I've saw of him, he's an exciting player at 6'4.5", 206. I've heard him compared to Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Which is high praise for any dual threat quarterback. But I think that he will compete this year and maybe have some packages built in for him. But next year he will be the starter. I will almost guarantee it.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's really high on that young man, and we'll see how he does. And recruiting, I feel like for Auburn's always been good too. They get the guys,
right.
They get talented players on offense, they get stout players on defense. So that's what again last year just really disappointing for them. But when you look at the portal, they went out. They got offensive linemen, they got defensive linemen. You got running backs, Darrell Robinson. I mean, so you're getting guys, Chaplin on the offensive line coming over from Virginia Tech, guys that you can build around and try to again push into that bowl realm. And even more, you want to contend for the SEC when you're Auburn. Like
Yep.
that's what the
That's the
2000s got you that feeling of okay, we can contend with the best of them. So now you're still here. You want to get back into that realm, and you don't want to get left behind with Alabama. Having a coaching change, and last year, Alabama was on the cusp of the playoff, but still, everybody's Alabama's down here. Well, now look at how Alabama's recruiting right now. So Auburn, you got to be in that same realm of I can't get left behind. You can't have that feeling. So we'll see. And obviously they attack the portal, so that it shows that they give a shit. Trev, let's go talk about the offense because we mentioned Jackson Arnold, and to me, he's going to have a healthy team here at Auburn. When you look at the Oklahoma team from
If you can hear me, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
You're muted. You muted yourself on accident. I couldn't unmute you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. You're fine. You unmuted when you were talking to me.
I don't know what the hell happened. We can cut that out though.
That's fine. We don't even need to cut it out. We're just having a good old time.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. That was weird. Like I'm just talking, then all of a sudden everything went like static and turn off. This goddamn, I'm gonna have to nuke this mic. But either way, we're talking about Jackson Arnold and the situation at Oklahoma, and just the way he operated. There was times that I agreed with you, Trevor. I was like, I just wasn't crazy about how he looked, but he was also in a lot of peril. The offensive line, I think, had 8 different rotational, pieces going on there. All the wide receivers were getting injured. So it's just a bad situation. And then, like you mentioned, it could have been a system thing too on top of all that. So compounding issues, maybe it's a fresh start for him. And, Jackson Arnold comes out and blows them out of the water and, shocks everybody. And even still last year, he didn't have his 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions there at OU. So
he took care of the ball for the most part.
Yeah. And then he can run as well. So, it's very possible that he steps it out and does a lot of good things for this Auburn program. I mean, he had almost 500 yards rushing last season.
Yeah, I think this year we're going to have a lot. Like last year with the quarterback position in general, all throughout college football, we pretty much knew what we were getting.
Yeah.
I think this year, first year in a couple of years where we just don't know a lot of the quarterbacks and how they're going to fare, mainly because of transfer portal and just these young guys that are very, very highly thought of coming in for their probably playing as freshmen. So, I mean, there's a whole lot going on in the college world just at the quarterback position.
It's going to be a really interesting season, man. So I'm excited to see how Jackson does because I think carries a negative connotation around him.
He does.
We'll see
how agree with that.
We'll see how he plays out here. But when you look around him, he's got weapons. I mean, the wide receiver room for Auburn is really loaded. Coleman's a beast. I mean, that dude's a freaking monster, as a freshman last year. Then you got Simmons as well. And then we mentioned Fields and Singleton both coming in from the portal. Eric Singleton coming over from Georgia Tech was a very nice wide receiver for them. And then, Horatio Fields from Wake Forest. So you got guys that he can throw to. You have halfback room is really, I'd say, more unproven. But you got Alston and then Robinson coming over from UConn. Right. And then on top of that, Jackson Arnold can run. So there's a run game.
Yeah,
it's an offensive line that you've got some strong returning guys in the center. Then you bring over Chaplin and Murphy coming over also from the portal. So, I mean, there's people there. There's no reason this offense can't be in the same realm, like better than last year. Because I wasn't really a fan of Peyton Thorne, to be honest with you. I mean, that's from our time at his time at Michigan State, but we are a little biased on that. But
a little biased, but I mean, he was a manageable quarterback, but I just didn't think he fit well in the offense that the Hugh Freeze tries to run.
I think this offense can be better this year, and I think it should be. Do you see anything else on this? I mean, I think it's going to be
Honestly,
improved.
the offense. I mean, I think we've covered it pretty well.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the pieces that they brought in. I think that they are going to be interesting, especially with Cam Coleman. I like
Yeah.
Cam Coleman, the sophomore wide receiver. I really do like him. He's going to be an interesting one. Plus the addition of the two wide receivers that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have too many. They had a couple ancillary pieces. The only one that I'll mention is the 6'1", 185 out of Alabama. The freshman coming in, Derek Smith. He's a four-star guy out of Alabama, 12th ranked, 13th wide receiver in the nation in the rank at 6'1", 185. So that's a potential freshman that could potentially start, but I don't think he will be. He will be a sub piece. I don't think he will be a starter unless he just blows them out of the water this offseason.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with the rotation. Well, let's jump into defense.
Yeah,
and again,
defense is where I think they made the biggest headway, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, a lot of good additions through the portal, and again, it was good last year. 31st defense in the country, and you're a 5-win team, and you're still in that realm. Like, what's going to give? Where are we going to push up? And the defensive line, Falk's got a beast. You've got pieces that were in there last year that can step up. And you got good rotational players from recruiting. Depth pieces. So I think run support's going to be fine, and then you add in the portalers, what I call them, edge rushers, the portalers from, Sam Houston, Chris Murray, guys like that. You got linebackers coming in, Wheatland, to pair with, Tyron Crawford. So you've got guys. Trev, what are you seeing on this defense? Because I think it's going to be just as good.
It's going to be good, and honestly, it's going to be they hit the recruiting trail in general hard on defensive players. So just to give you a kind of a summation, while there was a couple of nice pieces that I think there will be sub pieces in the transfer portal, they picked up 7 top 150 players within the national ranking of 150.
Yeah.
So they have a top 25 player in D line, 6'5.5", 330 pounds, Malik Autry, which will probably be a day one starter, or he will be integral in the defense going forward. You don't have a 5-star rated 98 overall by 247 Sports, and generally speaking, these players don't sit on the bench. They play.
I mean, if anything, they're right there, in, like you said, in the start or they're rotational immediately.
Yep, exactly,
and
right.
learning the system.
So yeah, and then basically this is how it goes as far as rankings on their recruiting board. Jared Smith, edge rusher, 6'6", 235. Anquan Fegans, safety, 6'1", 180. He's rated the 9th best safety in the country. JJ Falk, linebacker, rated as the 8th best linebacker in the country. 6'3", 225. D lineman, Jordan Crawford, 6'1.5". He's rated as the 14th best D lineman, and he's at 300 pounds at 6'1.5". We'll just call him 6'2".
Yeah.
And then a couple of more secondary guys that are all ranked within the 150. So we're talking about the top basically. These guys, all of these defensive players are within the top 20 in the country at their position group.
Yeah.
And that's not something to be sniffed at. These guys are quality players.
Absolutely.
If they all buy into the system. So that's the biggest thing with recruiting and transfer portal. If you can get everyone to buy in and go into the same direction, I'm telling you, Auburn is dangerous if that happens.
Absolutely. And then you pair, what they have in their base from recruiting, which you have to recruit well. Portal's important to plug holes and to build more
recruiting,
depth.
like that's what I was just telling. Like that's what I was going off of.
Absolutely.
Those guys that I just named off were all from the recruiting trail.
Yeah,
which gives you a great base for having a solid defense.
Absolutely. And then so we talked, the defensive line. They brought in guys to for depth pieces too. Jay Hardy even coming over from Liberty is a big body.
Oh yeah,
but you look at safeties. Tay Seymour coming over from Georgia Tech. cornerbacks, Strader coming over from Miami, Ohio, their best player. I mean, that dude's a beast.
Xavier Atkins, linebacker from LSU.
Yeah, so you've got depth, and it's going to be right there. You just have to win at the crucial moments in these games, and let's if you want, let's talk schedule, Trev, because
let's talk
the
about
defensive backs. I mean, they've got good defensive backs. Champ Anthony, if he's completely recovered, will be a nice addition coming back from injury. When you look at 2025. I'm going to throw 2024 real quick just to look at it one more time. Because you look at Cal, okay, that's a 1-score loss, and you guys are 5-7. 1-score loss there. Let that get away from you. Oklahoma, 1-score loss. Missouri, 1-score loss. So, if you can just get them flipped over, all right, I'm going to 25. If you can just fix those pieces, then you're going to be right back in contention. You just got to get, one, a ball luck, but two, you got to make your own luck. So when you look at this schedule in 2025, it's not easy start. If you don't know anything about the Big 12 or Baylor or whatever, do not take that team lightly. I think they're a loaded roster and they're ready to rock and roll.
A night game in Waco to start your season. That's gonna be. I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna watch that out of that game.
I live down the road from Waco. I say down there. It's about an hour away, but they're doing the whole blackout on the Brazos River. And they're going to be rowdy. They're going to be ready to rock and roll at McLean. And then you got Ball State.
A primetime game on Fox. It's
absolutely.
Gonna be great.
And it was funny. Somebody had mentioned it on Twitter, and they were like, "Yeah, just really under the radar game this year is Baylor and versus Auburn." I'm like.
Under the radar? No, it's definitely on my radar.
I was like, who are you talking to? And this was a national media guy, and I'm like, everybody in our podcast circle that we talk to, all the other guys that we know on Twitter that run pods too, everybody's like, no, that's a huge game to start the year. Auburn, you got to be ready for that, and you got to go show out.
Baylor has expectations this year.
Absolutely.
We covered them a few weeks ago, and I'll tell you this much is that we like what Baylor's doing over there in Waco, and I think that they are going to cause some waves in the Big 12.
Yeah, so if you want to go check out what we think about them, go on our YouTube. It's over there. But then you get Ball State. They're kind of, obviously Group of 5, they're retooling. They lost a lot. South Alabama lost a lot. If they had what they had last year, I'd tell you to be a little bit worried about them. Yeah. And then you got Oklahoma, which comes in, and they're completely retooled. New coordinator, on offense, new quarterback in Mateer, who's I think really a talented guy. But they're going to be coming off of a tough game early against Michigan. So, I mean, you might catch them reeling depending. And then, but it's the 2 back-to-back away games, Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Trev, that's tough. What about the rest of the schedule, man? How are you feeling about it? Can they get the over?
Did you 7.5? Say it? Did you say the over and under?
7.5 is the over under. So there's some hope there from.
There's a lot of hope right there. Okay. Let's see if I can figure this one out. I honestly think they lose the Iron Bowl. Sorry, Auburn, but I think you lose it.
Just throwing it out there first.
Right out the gate. Sorry.
Rip off the Band-Aid.
Off the Band-Aid. Now, Brendan's right. The Baylor game right out the gate, I'll come back to that one because I'm not honestly in my head, I'm not even sure. I think that right now, if I was to say it right now, you will have more talent and more elite talent than Baylor does, but that doesn't always win you games.
Yep.
So there's that. But I think Ball State you win, South Alabama you win. I'm gonna say I'm gonna have you win going into Norman and beating them. So I think you're 4-0 going into Texas A&M.
What a storyline that would be.
3-0 at least, but 4-0 I think you'd be 4-0 going into Texas A&M, and that would be rowdy. That would be absolutely crazy if Texas A&M could also be 4-0 by the time they meet you on September 27th. That'd be phenomenal.
That's college game day right there.
That's college game day guaranteed. Georgia, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got a puncher's chance in all of these games.
Absolutely.
By the talent that you guys have amassed and everything like that, I think you guys have a puncher's chance. But what I'd
Yeah.
say is that Georgia just poses a lot of matchup problems elsewhere. But the benefit is that you have a more experienced quarterback than they do at this point in time.
Yeah.
Arkansas is a win. Missouri, maybe. Missouri's a tough one for me. I don't know what to expect from them, but I still think that that's probably a win. So I'm just going to count this out because I keep saying wins and losses. I'm not keeping track. Sorry.
Add them up on the old fingers, buddy. That's what I got to do half the time.
3, 4. I had the over. I have them at 8.
Yeah. And
I have them at 8.
When I look at this schedule, Trev, I think it's completely manageable.
It is.
But it could turn south if they don't handle their business.
The only thing that I think sucks about this schedule is the spacing of the bye weeks.
Yeah.
It's very awkward.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and then you get Mercer right after your last bye week.
Yeah, and then you have your Mercer's your warm-up game for the Iron Bowl. Like, what?
I
would have much rather have the bye week one Saturday before. So you play Kentucky, you get the bye week, then you come out and you play Vanderbilt and Mercer, and then but I'm not a scheduling expert. I'm sure there's reasons why the bye week is there.
Well, half the time I don't think anybody's out there as a scheduling expert, throughout any of the SEC. Like they load up some of these poor bastards. It's crazy.
I remember last year just laughing at the schedule. Like, dude, what in God's name did these guys do to these people?
But no, like when I look at this, again, it's really the first 5 games. First 6 are going to be massive. Baylor's tough. You get, 2 wins there. So say you lose to Baylor, you get 2 wins there, Ball State, South Alabama. The storyline, if you guys beat Oklahoma with Jackson Arnold at quarterback, would be hilarious. National type shit. And then Texas A&M.
Depending if they make that a night game and you both are 3-0 going into that game.
Dude.
I hope that's not the case.
Or Michigan fans, but yeah.
If that does happen, I think even if they are not undefeated going into that Norman game, I think that might be a college game day game with Auburn and Oklahoma.
That very well could be too. You could have back-to-back ones depending. So looking at it again, the over/under 7.5. I could see them beating Oklahoma and Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M has. I'm still not sold on Marcel Reed at quarterback unless he has a nice jump this year. Georgia's got, a quarterback change. How you feel about Stockton, I don't know. I'm not sold yet. Arkansas, you mentioned they kind of like to give away football games. Kentucky, we just previewed them. That's going to be improved roster, so that's a tough battle. Vandy still has Pavia and the shit he's talking this year.
Pavia, man.
So it's going to be tough. I could see it right at the line there. But I just want to
let me ask you this question, Brendan. What are your odds that Auburn is a playoff team this year? With the schedule that you're looking at right now, because I mean, you could make an argument they go 11-1 or 10-1 going into the Iron Bowl.
Oh, I mean, there's absolutely an argument for it, especially if Jackson Arnold comes in and can, really push the offense forward. And even like you say, the total offense was 29th, but it's still just they couldn't finish in some of those games. So I think there's a definite chance that they could be 11. They could go 11-1 this year. I think they could even beat Alabama. They could beat Alabama. I mean, Bama's still their loaded roster, but is Ty Simpson? We don't know anything about him other than
he's Alabama's in the same boat as Georgia. We just don't know what kind of quarterback play we're going to get out of it.
Yeah, it's still an SEC schedule. You can't slip up to the likes of Arkansas, Kentucky, Vandy. But again, I think Kentucky's going to be well improved. But Auburn, you do get them in Auburn.
You do get to miss out on having to play Texas, which is a benefit in this year for you.
No Texas, no Tennessee,
no
Florida. which is important
Yeah,
too.
Florida's a good one to miss, honestly, because I think they are going to be dangerous.
No South Carolina either. So no, I think this is a
Sellers
winnable
alone
schedule.
is just ridiculous, but yeah.
I think this is definitely a winnable schedule. But again, if you don't finish, then you could be in the same boat of 5-6 losses. It just depends.
I would say that Auburn, you got to go undefeated in going all the way into your first bye week to give yourself a chance.
To make it run at the playoffs.
I get, like, yeah, we got to go undefeated, dude. No shit.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I know I'm Captain Obvious in it over here, but no, like, you can't put yourself behind the 8 ball, for lack of a better term, to like losing to Baylor, for example. Like that's not the way you need to start your season. And certainly you don't want to lose to Oklahoma or Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So I think the acceptable losses in my mind are Georgia and Alabama. Those are acceptable losses to me. Everything else, I think you're better than everybody else on the schedule. Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I want to hear from you, Auburn fans. Let us know in the comments there on YouTube. We appreciate your perspective on it. Do you have the hype or the hope that we're kind of feeling here and what we're seeing? Because it's a winnable schedule as long as you guys get your shit together. So hit us in the comments. Let us know what you're feeling, what you're thinking. Are you riding the over or the under for this 2025 Auburn roster? We look forward to hearing from you down in the comments.
That's right.
All right, guys. We appreciate your time. We'll see you around.
Take it easy, everybody.